Rhea Ripley once again proved why she is one of the most dominant and talked-about superstars in WWE today, but this time the conversation wasn't just about victory or defeat. It was about the war she went through inside the ring and the physical aftermath she proudly displayed afterward. On this week's episode of SmackDown, Ripley stepped into the ring against Giulia in a match that instantly felt special. From the opening bell, the intensity was undeniable. Both competitors carried themselves like stars, neither willing to give an inch, and the crowd could sense that something explosive was about to unfold. The match quickly turned into a clash of styles. Ripley, known as the Eradicator, relied on her overwhelming power and physical dominance. Every strike she delivered had force behind it, every slam carried authority. Giulia, however, refused to be intimidated. Instead of trying to overpower Ripley, she embraced chaos. She fought with urgency and unpredictability, using speed, creativity, and a borderline unhinged aggression to counter Ripley's strength. It created a dynamic that kept fans on the edge of their seats. Throughout the contest, momentum shifted back and forth. Ripley would gain control with a crushing move, only for Giulia to respond with something equally shocking. There were moments when it seemed like Ripley's raw power would simply be too much. She tossed Giulia around the ring, asserting her dominance and reminding everyone why she has been at the top of the women's division. But Giulia's resilience was just as impressive. She absorbed punishment and came back swinging, refusing to let Ripley dictate the pace for long. One of the most jaw-dropping moments of the match came when Giulia trapped Ripley in a brutal hold. With Ripley face down on the mat, Giulia pulled her arms back in a painful-looking lock that bent Ripley's upper body in a dangerous angle. The visual alone was intense. Then, in a shocking display of aggression, Giulia drove Ripley's face into the mat with a kick. The impact was sudden and violent, drawing a collective gasp from the audience. It was the kind of moment that reminds everyone how physically demanding and unforgiving professional wrestling can be. Despite the punishment, Ripley refused to stay down. Her resilience was on full display as she powered her way back into the match. The two women continued to trade heavy shots and near falls, each pushing the other to the limit. The chemistry between them was undeniable. Every exchange felt meaningful, every counter perfectly timed. It was shaping up to be a decisive and memorable showdown. However, just as Ripley appeared ready to put Giulia away, chaos erupted. Nia Jax stormed into the scene, followed closely by Lash Legend. The sudden interference changed everything. Ripley, who had been moments away from capitalizing on her momentum, suddenly found herself under attack. The referee had no choice but to call for the bell, ending the match in a disqualification. The official result almost felt secondary compared to the mayhem unfolding in the ring. The ambush was brutal and calculated. Jackson Legend targeted Ripley aggressively, looking to make a statement. The numbers advantage was clear, and for a brief moment, it seemed like Ripley would be overwhelmed. But she wasn't alone for long. IYO SKY rushed in to even the odds, coming to her tag team partner's aid. The ring turned into a battleground as all four competitors collided in a chaotic brawl. The crowd erupted as alliances were tested and rivalries intensified. While the official outcome of the match may have been a disqualification, the real story was the damage left behind. Ripley had endured not only Giulia's relentless offense, but also a post-match assault. The physical toll of the encounter became even more evident after the show. Ripley later took to Instagram to share the aftermath of the brutal fight. In her story, she revealed a massive bruise forming around her right eye, a visible reminder of Giulia's vicious face-first impact earlier in the match. The image immediately caught fans' attention. The bruise was impossible to ignore, dark and prominent against Ripley's face. Rather than hiding it, she showcased it with pride, embodying the warrior mentality that has defined her career. For Ripley, scars and bruises are not signs of weakness. They are badges of honor, proof that she went to war inside the ring. Interestingly, the timing added another layer to the narrative. Giulia had just celebrated her birthday on the 21st of the month, receiving countless messages of support and well wishes from fans and fellow wrestlers. Ripley also acknowledged the occasion, but her message carried a different tone. Instead of a simple birthday greeting, it felt more like a warning. After the events of SmackDown, Ripley's words suggested that this rivalry is far from over. The tension between Ripley and Giulia now feels personal. Their in-ring chemistry was electric, but but the physical aftermath and the social media exchange have intensified things even further. Fans are already speculating about a rematch, imagining what could happen if the two are given another opportunity without outside interference. Considering how evenly matched they appeared and how brutal their exchanges were, a future showdown could be even more explosive. Ripley's ability to turn a painful situation into a powerful statement speaks volumes about her character. Many athletes might shy away from showing visible injuries, but Ripley leaned into it. She transformed a bruise into part of the storyline, adding authenticity and grit to the rivalry. It reinforces her image as one of the toughest competitors in the women's division. At the same time, Giulia's performance cannot be overlooked. She stepped into the ring with one of WWE's most dominant forces and did not back down. Her willingness to push boundaries and embrace a more ruthless style proved that she belongs on this stage. The shocking face-driving spot will likely be replayed and discussed for weeks, highlighting just how far she is willing to go. The interference by Nia Jax and Lash Legend also complicates the picture. Their involvement suggests that the women's division is more volatile than ever. Alliances, grudges, and championship aspirations are all colliding at once. With IYO SKY standing alongside Ripley, the tag team dynamic adds yet another layer to the unfolding drama. As the dust settles from SmackDown, one thing is certain: Rhea Ripley remains at the center of the conversation. Whether it's her in-ring dominance, her resilience in the face of chaos, or the bruise she proudly displayed afterward, she continues to command attention. The visible mark on her face serves as a reminder that every match has consequences, especially when two elite competitors push each other beyond their limits. The road ahead looks intense. With tensions rising and unfinished business lingering between Ripley and Giulia, fans can expect this story to evolve. The disqualification finish left many wanting more, and the physical and emotional stakes have only increased. Ripley's message, both through her performance and her social media post, makes it clear that she is not done. In professional wrestling, moments like this define careers. They blur the line between competition and conflict, between athleticism and storytelling. Ripley versus Giulia was more than just a match on SmackDown. It was a statement, a warning, and perhaps the beginning of something even bigger. And judging by the bruise under Ripley's eye and the fire in her response, the next chapter could be even more brutal.